schedule.
Well,
So
guys, this is the reveal of the Mary Lloyd.
woohoo!
There you go. Are you
Oh,
seeing that?
yeah,
Hang on, hang on. Let's get this. Hang on a minute. Let's get stay. I got to put this in a proper place. Hang on, there we go. Right, I'm going to put my glasses on because I can't see whether you're seeing it or not. 1 second.
I can't
Um,
see anything.
the big reveal. Okay, so there we go.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, very good. Very good. The
Do
dead
you like
horse's
Mary
head.
Lloyd? So there you go. That's the Barry Mary. It's the first time in 100 years that Barry has actually had a Mary Lloyd.
Hmm.
So yeah, the boys haven't turned up tonight. So yes. So right. So guys, any news from anybody today?
No.
No, nothing from me.
Right, I got some other news that the tower on the docks, Cadw have actually told us that it's temporary got a listing order on it. The last remaining Art Deco piece of the jigsaw for the 6th of June 1944 build up to D-Day, and this building would have seen troops disembark disembarking for Normandy. So the building, it looks like, will be listed and protected. It's got a provisional listing order placed on it, which is great, thanks to Kate's work and mine and whoever else has been involved. And so that's really exciting. That's really exciting news. And the other thing as well is on the 27th of September this year, when we're at St. Barrack's Chapel, the production company Wildfire Cymru will actually be performing a play. So we're going to be doing a play at St. Barrack's Chapel. And the other thing as well is on the 1st of March as well. On the 1st of March, we've got we've got
A litter pick.
a litter pick, which is going to be taking place at Glanamore and St. Barrack's Chapel, and so it's all happening in Barry now, and it's all good. It's all good in the hood, as they say. So
How many members have you got?
say that again.
How many members have you got who will do it?
We've got on the litter pick for the first, because it's only a very small group online. We've got there's 5 wanting to do it on that day, which is really good. So we've got thanks to some of the donations and whatever, we've got some. Oh, here we go. This is these are some of the things that people donated towards.
Raffle?
No, they. Why would no? We did some fundraising, didn't we? We got some pruners. We got a couple of these. We've got these as well. So we're doing a bit of pruning, right? So thanks to people donating. So we got that, and so obviously we'll be based. It'll be based here, and it'll be based here in Barry, where we'll be doing all these bits and pieces. We're going to be doing painting, varnishing, litter picking,
This is
sort
to
of
do with Barry
general
Museum.
pruning, a little bit of raking, that type of thing. So that's what we're going to be doing with St. Barrack's Chapel and the likes of Glanamore in Barry.
Good. Well
So
done.
right, well done everybody as well. So now I would like to know, is there any news from Richard?
No, nothing from me.
Yes, Richard, I was working on something to do with the book the other day, and can I remember what it was? No, I can't, but yeah, I was working on it, as I said, Richard. So anything from you, Pat?
Nope, sorry. No.
And anything from you, Anne?
No, except I did go very close to Caerwent on Monday.
Mhm.
I never went there.
Mm.
How can you? No, no. You should have just driven through Kaya went, right?
No, I went to Langstone Crematorium.
Well,
Mm.
that's like a few miles down the road. That don't count.
I don't have a car and I can't drive anymore.
Mm.
Well, you walked to Langstone.
No, I went on a train. I had to be picked up.
All right. So who's got your car then?
It's in the driveway.
All right then. I'll give you a couple of quid for it, Anna. That's all right. Cheers, love. Um. Right. Well, you're not driving at all.
Oh, I go to the shops.
Oh,
Right.
well, you are driving. Oh, all right then.
I
Right.
got 612 vision.
I've no idea what that is.
It's I'm just able to drive.
Mm.
Oh, just able to drive. All right then.
Yeah.
If we see you driving with a walking stick alongside, we know we got trouble. Right, okay then. So we're gonna crack on, babies. Straight to here. And we're gonna look. Right, okay. Whatever you do, don't mention the role in a film about pirates. Right, okay.
Might have to put my hat on
Why have you got to put your hat on?
because
That's cool, huh?
because the light's on,
Right,
shining in
okay.
my eyes.
Mm.
All right then. Well, we're going to be doing part 2, right?
Okay.
Of looking, no, part 2, part 4 of Iron Age coins of Britain. This is the last part of this, and then what we've got, we will be looking at what else did we do last night? We're looking at a weird hill fort in northern England. So that's got a really nice little bit of history associated with it. So we'll be doing that as well. And we're looking at medicinal qualities of certain plants, right? So, guys, what I want you to do a moment whilst I go and dash and get the milk, right? I want you guys to discuss what you're seeing on this coin. You've got about 30 seconds to do it. So I'm going to go and get my milk.
Well, the one looks like a fern,
Hmm.
doesn't it?
I don't know.
Looks like a plant, on the left.
Like does like a plant, yeah.
And the one in the middle, I don't know. Has it got an elephant or something?
Horse?
Probably a horse. Yeah. Don't know.
Stylize.
Yeah.
Dog there. Circles. Tails.
I can't see it properly.
Mm.
Mm.
There's a fish on the one.
I hear you said you could see something that looks like a turnip.
No, I said I thought it looks like a fern.
Now that's rather interesting. So what we've got on the left-hand side, so what we're looking, this is a gold coin of the Dubunai people. Now the Dubunai people are based around Gloucester. This is known as the periphery coins that were actually produced by those tribal people in Iron Age Britain. And again, they've got the same designs on them. They got this could be wheat, or this could be barley on the left hand side. What you've clearly got on the right is you've got a horse, typical of the Uffington horse type of design, and you've got a little bit of a wheel on this one. Now the Dubunai people themselves, if we want to know where the Dubunai actually are in the state of in the state of Iron Age Britain. If we go to this little chart here, there are the Dubunai. Now, what it is on the chart, you can clearly see in the middle of that screen. That's Gloucester, going all the way to Bristol and Bath, and down in the middle you've got the Judachigi people. Those are the people of Dorset. And Dorchester, right? And then these are periphery coin people. These are the coins that they're producing are on the edge of the coin producing people, like the Trenobantes, the Atrabates, the Iceni. the Kantiakoi people. So in the mix with the Juratriges and the Dubune people, you've got the Karatavai people. We've mentioned them before because coins from the Karatavai people were actually found in North Wales in a coin hoard that has been recently declared 15 gold coins. Now, the point that I keep making with all of this is that the people actually making lots of coins in gold are like the Atrebatai people, the Trinavantes, the Akinai, the Katavalani people. But the people like the Karatavai people and the Dubunai people, and most in particular the Juratrigi, are making coins out of silver. But however, the Juratrigi people are so close to gold, but they're not producing many coins in gold. And this is one of the great enigmas in Roman Britain. Like one of those things that I keep mentioning. It's almost as if the people that should be producing coins, like the people in Cymru Wales, like the people in Cumbria, like the people in Scotland, like the people in Cornwall, are not producing coins at all, which is really, really queer. We don't know why the reason is. But somebody said last night they might not be producing coins in gold and silver simply because, folks, the gold and silver is like something that they say every day. Why would they make it into coins when the people have, like the Iceni and the Trinavandis, they don't have access to readily mined gold, but they're making lots of coins in gold. And one of the points that we made last night, and this is a really interesting point, and we had some facts and figures on this before we leave this image and we actually go to what we're specifically looking at. One of the points is that on the island of Jersey, they've got a declared coin hoard of nearly 70,000 coins in the Iron Age, right? And it's dating from about 50 years BC. And then the question was, 50 years BC, how many people lived on the island of Jersey in the Iron Age around that time? And we come up with a figure of loosely about 3,000 people. And we basically thought, well, those coins found in the coin hoard, if that was divided amongst the people, I think we worked out that each person would have around 20, should have had 20 of those coins from that coin hoard in the island of Jersey. So it means that there's a phenomenal amount of coins in circulation in the Iron Age. And that's just Jersey as one example. So if we actually go back to this and we actually go out and we go to this, we can sort of understand this a little bit better. Now, this is again another one of those coins from the Dubunai people of Gloucester. And you can actually see on the one side, there is actually no inscription at all. On the other side, you've got the wheel. Again, you've got the horse, the prancing horse. This is a gold stater of the Dubunai people. And yes, the Dubunai people, they're using a little bit of gold, but not as much gold as the Iceni. They're using more silver coins that Dubunai are producing in the Gloucester area. Now, the next coin is rather interesting. We've mentioned inscriptions, and you will see, and my attitude towards inscriptions from the Iron Age in Britain is that they can be looked far superior than Roman inscriptions. For example, Bodvok. Now, if anyone knows the work of Karl-James Langford, the esteemed and eminent archaeologist, they will have read in Romans in South Wales the name Bodvok, which is associated with the Bodvok stone, which again, but this has got the name Bodvok, and this is issued by the Dubunai people of Gloucester. And you're thinking, again, this is a gold coin, but this coin has got the name Bodvok. Who is Bodvok? Bodvok may have been a great leader of the Dubunic people. And you've got a wheel on there. You've got the horse looking towards the right rather than towards the left. Right, and then you start to look at other coins from the Dubunai people. These are actually silver coins. These are actually silver units, the more popular coins produced by the likes of the Dubunic people of Gloucester. Now, one interesting thing, look at that coin there. Doesn't that coin, hang on a minute, go out there and we go, doesn't that coin echo something really powerful? If you, Anne, I don't, Anne, not taking the Michael or anything, but if you can just focus a little bit more, right, and you can step back from the screen, that face looks really realistic, right? It really, really does. Note the chin, note the shape of the chin, that's really good. Note the lips, note the nose, note the eyes, that looks really realistic. And I would love to actually,
Oh, yeah.
I would love to have I would love to have one of these coins in my hand, Dan, because that not because it's silver, not because it's an Iron Age coin, but because that face would look at me and it would be like, my God, I'm looking into the face of Bodvok himself. Right. And what you can clearly see, and I said a few weeks ago about coins, and I said, look, lots of the modern standards on coins, on one side, you've got like Britannia in this case, you've got the horse, modern coins, and then you've got the pellets around the outside to act against anti-milling, anti-cutting down the coins. This has actually come from the Iron Age in Britain. If people turn around, I don't know if any of you have actually been on the Royal Mint tour, right? But in a Royal Mint tour, they basically say, we've got 1,000 years of making coins with the Royal Mint, and they basically says, all the modern standards of coins go back 1,000 years. No, they don't. They go back 2,050, 2,100 years, because we're seeing this on these coins, this wonderful visage of the Iron Age. As you can tell, I'm really loving this today. And I'm glad you waited, guys. Sorry about the delay, but I don't know where the other boys happened tonight. So look at that there. It's almost as if we've got a prancing little horse that Anne would have played with when she was a child. It's almost as if that design's a little bit different. And when you're thinking about, these are produced by the same people. One minute you've got very realism, and then you've got sort of really abstract. You might be looking at something, you might be thinking about very abstract designs of maybe the early 1900s, for example, but this is an Iron Age coin from 2050 years ago. Yeah. And then you've got something that is so odd and abstract that's supposed to be a face on the left. That is definitely a face. And that's a face there looking realistic. This is another thing, right? The other thing, this is looking towards the left. This is looking towards the right. Now, they do believe that the coin looking towards the right is of another leader called Corio, who's also a leader of the Dubunic people. And what do we know about coins, Anne? Well, usually on coins and stamps, right, the head looks one way for one ruler and looks another way for another ruler. The Iron Age has given this sort of template of how we express ourselves on coins, right? And it all goes back to the Iron Age again. What's this got in common? Horse looking towards the right, horse looking towards the left, horse looking towards the left. But you know what I like about that? I like that little figure there, right? It's almost as if it's like a puffy sort of hairdo type chicken, with those eyes, looking really, really interesting. That sort of creature on there. What is that? And we can have many guesses, but to be honest with you, turkey. Did you say a turkey?
Could be a sheep.
It could be a sheep. Yeah, it could be a sheep, but you've got a bit of a boof on there, But
Yeah.
what I'm thinking, Anne, am I right in, Anne, would you agree with this? That style there is very different from the style there. It's almost as if there's two artists at work here. That looks very interesting, very animalistic, and this is sort of looks very much play. Am I right or wrong there, Anne?
Yeah.
You're the artist. Let me know.
Oh,
Hey, Anne, we're moving on. Sorry, got loads to go through. So again, these are more silver units of the Dubunic people, and and what we're thinking with the Dubunic people of Gloucester, and we're looking at the people of the Atrebatis, and the capital city of the Atrebatis is, Anne, can you remember that?
uh,
Come on, Anne. I'll help you out. It started
Callum Durai.
No, Khalifa Atrebatum. How dare you? Yeah, exactly. So we've got a bit of Khalifa Atrebatum at work here now, and the basically the coins of the Jibunai people and the coins of, for example, the coins of the Atrebatis are very similar, but these are just two completely separate tribal groupings, one in the Thames area and one in the Gloucester area. And it's very interesting to think that even though these are independent, different people, right, they're producing similar designs on coins, both the one on the left both the left-hand designs of these coins, that those represent heads and faces, and they've got their horses on these coins as well. Now, some of you may have actually went to Savernake Forest with me in good old Wiltshire. Now, Savernake Forest, we've got a coin here. We basically, one side is actually plain. It's a base gold coin again, in that sort of territory of Wiltshire, which is basically acrobatic and a bit of jiu there. And again, this is a coin known as a Savernake base gold stater. Again, the word stater, we'll explain a little bit more about staters in a short while. Now, the next coin is going to be very similar to the coin that we opened with tonight. The very interesting thing is you've got almost as if you've got that showing down to sort of that idea that what's important to these people is wheat, is barley. What that is on the left is certainly not a sword. And what you've got a horse. Then you've got the name of somebody, EISV, ISV, right? And the one thing about SV is this is another name for a leader associated with the Jabunite people. Again, especially a little bit of an expression about these tribes and what these tribes are all about. These are basically people who decided to get themselves together in some way, shape, or form. It's basically a ruler sort of obtaining and controlling territory. This is what we're thinking in regards to the big tribal names of the area, because at one stage there'd be loads of little groups of people and they've decided to go under one banner, and this is one leader, EISV. Now, we've mentioned the name stater. Now, staters, this is a stater. Staters are usually gold. Some historians refer to silver coins around the same size. They're silver staters, but I refer to them as silver units, because if you start to use the word stater for gold and you start to use the word stater for silver, it gets very, very confusing. Now, when we're looking at something like this, we move on to this is the leader Esiv or Esu, which sounds more native British than Latin, and this. And then what we've got is the word stater, right? So the iron staters were gold coins that weighed between 4.5 and 6.5 grams in a British context. Quarter staters were very small. In fact, quarter staters were basically under the size of an old halfpence piece, right? And there it goes, weight of iron age staters. Now, these initially started off as 90% gold, then they become half gold, half silver, half copper. And it's talking about these larger coins that came over. The first imported gold staters, to give us an idea, maybe 100 years BC, were 27 millimeters, which is a size today of a modern 10 pence piece. And that's quite substantial. That's nearly 8 grams in weight. But by about 75 years BC, the size of these coins and the weight is actually reduced to 6.45 grams. Is basically down to the fact that either they're circulating more coins and they're getting more coins for their gold, which would make more sense. But then again, you could do the same thing if you sort of devalue it by putting silver or copper in them. And then you've got the final status running all the way up to the age of ancient Rome, Imperial Rome in AD 43. And you're thinking about these British tribes reducing the weight of their coins until the last ones weighed 5.4 grams, which is, within the case of 100 years, that's quite a reduction in the weight of gold by about 3 grams. Now, again, thinking about this, getting an idea, I worked out the other day, I made a little bit of a mistake when I was explaining this, but 19 millimeters is under the size of a modern 1 pence piece. Right, and Commius, the great leader Commius of the Acrobati people, and Commius, again, this is the Acrobatic territory divides into two, and then you've got these coins almost as if what you've got there. You've got a 19 millimeter coin from about 50 years BC, which is obviously obviously wider but flatter than a coin that's 17 millimeters, but more weight, under a gold stater, under a leader known as Ambiani, before 50 years BC, before the years of Julius Caesar, for example, coming over his proper invasion in 55 BC. Now, Connor is actually, those that know the work of William Shakespeare, Connor is actually mentioned in the work of William Shakespeare, and again, going up to the end years of Iron Age independent rule in Britain, AD 43. Again, you're talking about these coins 16 millimeters. That's a lot less than a modern 1 pence piece. And if we think about the size there, we're thinking about 19 millimeters. You can get an idea of the scale there, and the scale of and when we think about a modern 1 pence piece, a modern 1 pence piece is just over 20 millimeters and the weight of 3.56 grams. Now, it's interesting to note that the coin which is smaller than 20 millimeters, smaller than a 1 pence piece, right? Those coins are weighing 5.4 grams, when in fact a coin bigger, which is a modern 1 pence piece, weighs 3.56 grams. That's because Iron Age coins are thicker rather than wider. So that really makes that case. Yes, and you are right in what it says. Our coins are basically a base metal of steel covered in bronze, right? And obviously our copper plate is steel. So there we go, giving you an idea. If you when I used to go into the Principality, and whenever I used to collect coins off the street, I used to say that they're from they're from a cemetery that I've been excavating, right? And I would hand over these coins. They say these coins are in really bad state, and it'd be like 1 pence pieces, and I'd say, but these are iron, and I say, yeah, because our modern coins are iron, steel, but they're just coated with a bit of copper and bronze. Occasionally, they give me the coins back to them. I'm not saying I'm not accepting that, but they're supposed to legal tender. So again, somebody asked last night. They asked a question, right? So there were lots of forgeries in circulation. And I basically said, they're technically, right? Technically, a forgery is when it's meant to look like something and it's the wrong metal, right? So a forgery in an Iron Age context is an iron coin that's been dipped in gold, right? That's the forgery, right? A copy is different from a forgery. A copy is when a coin is actually gold in one area and it got a coin which is gold in another area, and it's just copying the one over the hill, right? That's a copy, right? It's not a forgery. A forgery is when you make modern coins out of lead, right? When in fact they're supposed to be coated in copper, blah blah blah. So this is a coin of somebody known as Anteb. Now the name Anteb with the Jabuni people, right, in Gloucester, the name Anteb is also used by a leader of the Iceni people, which is northern part of East Anglia. Again, this is a silver coin. Again, the use of the Gloucestershire people, the Jabuni, using a lot of silver coins. And again, this may look like a load of dribble, right? But the one on the left does actually represent a head, right? The lower part of the head is at the bottom of the coin, and on the other side, right? If you look, there's actually a horse there, right? You've got the neck of the horse. Okay, let's draw that in. You've got the neck of the horse there. You've got the rump, two hinds, and two hinds at the rear, right? So this is basically what we're looking. And again, this is a silver coin. Now, interesting enough, I would say, from personal experience, the people of the Judatrigi people, the people of like Judatrigis, the people of a little bit of Wiltshire and sort of the Dorset area, they're sort of going up to Somerset. These people themselves are actually making cast coins out of bronze. Right, they've got lots of access to gold, but they choose to make bronze coins. Now, again, the Iceni people, you don't really think the Iceni people in East Anglia are making many bronze coins. They're not making many silver coins. They're making many gold coins, right? But these people in this area in Wiltshire, in the Iron Age, are actually producing base metal coins like bronze, and they're cast. So basically, as they're cast, they're cast in a mold rather than die stamped. right? And basically, what you might think is that if that coin of the Giudices there is probably meant to replicate something like this. You can sort of think that that is that one on the right, except it's gone a bit too far because that there's supposed to be a head on the left. That there is supposed to represent that and that there. So that has come, the one on the right has actually come from the design of a horse. Amazing, enough. But again, this is a cast coin. Now, as we think again, and this is a trick question on the next slide, right? Not this, but then again, let's. This isn't the trick question thing now. So what they've done, this is both slightly cast on one side and stamped on another side, right? So basically, you've got they've dripped the gold into a mold, right? Well, mold cast on the one side on the left, and then they thought, oh, well, that's a bit of a design, isn't it? Not sure. It looks like something out of Alien, the film. And then on the right, that's stamped, right? So basically, one die stamp, that's it, job done, goes out the window. But the next thing, even though the one on the right is you can actually, it looks like a head there on the right, doesn't it? Head upside down. If we look there, that looks very similar to that, but this is very much Von Daniken, Chariots of the God image that was being created by aliens. But can anyone remember from the other coin stuff what that design on the left represents? Anyone throw out? What does that? It's not a starfish, by the way. What does that represent on the left? Remember what I taught you guys. Come on. It's basically nobody coming forward. It's basically 5 horses' heads. Right, and if you think, like, how can that be a horse's head? Right, get rid of that there. Basically, you've got the neck there.
You keep mixing up the left with the right.
Do I?
Yeah, you said what was that on the left? And
that is the left.
But there wasn't anything on the left. I couldn't see anything.
All right, let's start again. Right, Anne, I'll give you benefit of the doubt. What are we seeing on the left there?
Oh, that one, yeah, it looks like some bananas. Yeah, I was thinking of the one before.
You silly goat!
You know, it looks like a starfish, but it's 5 heads, isn't it?
I said it wasn't a starfish. Basically,
I know, but you said it's 5 horses. Oh.
Yeah, I've just told you. For God's sake, I tell you what, right? If you were on Bully, and say out of the black and in the red, nothing in this game and 2 in bed, he's already given you the answers, right? You still wouldn't win the car.
No.
But mind you, Anne, can you remember the times that people actually lived in Manchester and they won a speedboat? I was always shocked by that. Can you remember that one? That there was these people in Manchester, they're expecting a Mini, and the guy said, I just passed my test, I won. And they reveal, and it's a bloody speedboat, and the amount of disappointment that guy's got, and don't even have a car to pull it. Anyway, Anne, yeah, that's basically representing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 horses' heads, right? And basically, what you've got the mane there, you've got the head there, and so on, right? So yeah, there we go. Now this is actually the real McCoy. These go for about 150 quid if you want to talk about monetary value. And again, this is a Giudice stator made out of silver and not bronze. So what we got to think about now? We're moving on a little bit, and we've got to think next about. Again, we've done that one. Look at that. It looks like Alien on the left.
That one there. Oh,
go on. Go on.
Sorry,
yeah. I. Go on, Anne.
You said, what's that one there? And there was nothing on it. And you said it was the right. Oh God, no, it's all right. It's all right.
I know what I'm doing. Honestly, I know my right and my left. Basically, we're looking at that. The one on the right, you look like you've got 2 heads. Okay, job done. Excellent. Excellent. Don't worry about. Oh, by the way, Dodgy gives his love, Anne.
That's charming.
So basically, what I'm having a McDonald's after this.
Ow.
What?
Ow. Ow.
Oh,
How are
you
you
haven't
having
had
it at
McDonald's.
McDonald's?
What?
How are you having your McDonald's?
Yeah, I'm going to a McDonald's. That's what I meant. McDonald's. Shut up. Right. So basically, you've got a horse there on the right. Okay, and this is these what it is. Right. If we go back to the map, folks, go back to the map. Roman Britain. So what we've done, the tribal names. So we've done the Durotriges in the middle there. We've done the Bunai, and we've got the Karl-james people, which are basically the area of Lincolnshire, right? So those are the coins that have been found in North Wales, karl-james people, Lincolnshire. So basically, and if anyone's been watching my videos on YouTube and my Roman stuff, they will know that I did a bit more Lincoln recently. Yeah, we did the other gateway that's in Lincoln that nobody seems to know about. Anyway, so what we've got, if we go back to the images, folks, and if we go to, as you can see, we've got all those images to do still, so we're gonna have to speed on a bit. So what we got that horse, and I think that doesn't look like a horse to me. It looks more like a sort of dragon from ancient China. Now this is a gold coin of the karl-james people. Now, obviously, the karl-james people are probably getting their gold from Wales, but are they? Are they getting their gold from somewhere else? Now, this is the point. Now, thinking about this, that we're looking, and we're looking at a proper gold coin, and this coin itself again is very similar to lots of coins being produced by the Iceni, the Atropates near London, the Trinovantes sort of east of London as well. So the horse designer, why these things seem to repeat on coins over and over again. There's got to be a reason for this, and we haven't got the answer yet. Now, looking at this again, going back away from gold, we're looking at silver units of the karl-james people. And again, I've shown you this before because these are
nice.
yeah, these are nice. You know, when we did the coins that were found in North Wales, right? These coins themselves were similar. Some of the designs are similar to some of the coins found in North Wales, right? And basically, these are silver units. And what we're looking at here is some horses looking towards the left, others looking towards the right, various different designs. Again, the representation of the wheel. Yeah, and again, this sort of repeating theme of the horse, but the horses on the left, the horses on the left are very more stylized than the horses on the right. And basically, the one on the bottom right hand corner looks very much like an extreme version of the Uffington horse. In fact, it looks, the rump up in the air, the strident rump and a long belly, very much like the Uffington horse. But that's near Swindon, right? This is up near Lincoln. Different thing. That now we go on to something really odd. Look at that coin there on the left. Now, you could think that the coin on the left, again, another coin of the karl-james people, Lincoln way. You could think, well, what is that saying? Is that could actually be a face on the left. Again, the horse is mane on the right. Again, the horse is looking towards the left. But what we've got inscriptions on these coins as well. The inscription on the coin is meant to say AVN. You can see AVN at the top there, right? That's AVN. And there is supposed to be some other inscription on here, COST, right? But that is lost to me at this present moment. But off some other coins as well. Again, this is a silver unit. As we move on to the other silver units here, what we can see, it's almost as if the one there at the top, see the one on the top, is a similar design to this, right? But it's more basic, right? And obviously what we've got on the right, we've got VEP, which represents another ruler, right? Now, the karl-james people are actually putting their names on the coins, and this is a thing. Names on coins, very, very interesting. So we can't. But this is a point I keep making, that if you've got letters on coins, were these people literate? We're not going to answer that. But if you've got letters on coins, is this representational of actual, genuine, real names that people called themselves in Iron Age Britain? Well, Well, of course it is. Because if you've got a coin with Julius Caesar written on it, you believe it's a coin of Julius Caesar. If you've got a coin of Claudius, you believe it's a coin of Claudius, not Dave, right? So, in other words, the Roman leaders called themselves Claudius or whatever they call themselves. So, why couldn't Iron Age people use these names on coins and the names that they actually called themselves? And I think that's a really, really valuable point. Again, more of these silver coins. Now, then you actually start to go into a little sweet shop of letters, right? And you've got a sweet shop of letters. These people are basically saying to the Romans, right, go away, go away. You're not coming over to our country, you know, go away. We're going to put our own names on these things. And they go nuts. And these are again more of these Korotavai coins, but these are actually gold. You got silver one at the top, and then you got the gold one at the bottom. Now, again, it doesn't really spell it well on the left, but that says Volisos, okay, Volisos, VOL, right? And it's meant to say on the bottom sauce, right? Volisos, VOL. ISOS. You can't make that up. If you can't work that one out, just don't worry about it. We'll get over it. But interesting enough, the coin of Volisos, his other name is given because on the opposite side. So is that the obverse or the reverse? It's really difficult to tell what's going on with these because when you've got a head on it, that's typically referred to as the obverse, right? When you've got and then you've got a design of Britannia or a horse, that's usually the reverse, but we're not going there. But this is a leader known as Volisos on the one side, and then we've got his other name, Caritavel, which is you can just see a CART, and there's an I and there's a V there. Well, definitely a V and maybe an I in the middle. This is coin of Caritavel, right? And then these Karatavai people really want to make themselves known because look at that one there. That's a gold. That's a gold coin. Again, you've got a horse looking towards the right, and on this one, you've got this is looking towards the left, and this is a different leader altogether, right? Because on the one side there, you've got on the one on the left, you've got D, U or V, and you've got an M. We do believe the name of this one is Doomnock. And then, okay, what you've got is on this other side, and you really need to be smoking something really bright, but apparently the name on this is Tigir Seno. So you've got at the top, you've got not there. At the top, you've got the writing Sigurd, right? Start again. Not Sigurd, Tigir, Tigir, and you can clearly see Seno on the bottom, right? So in other words, this is a coin of Dumnock Tigir Seno, right? Now, the big question is this their own form of language? Is this their own form of if I use the word, is this their form of Latin? Right, or is this their form of language? So two different questions there, and I can't answer that, right? But these people are wanting to tell us who they are, and some of these people only survive by the names on their coins, right? A bit like Anglo-Saxon coins. We find Anglo-Saxon coins now, and the only reference that we've got of history of those Anglo-Saxon leaders is actually on the coin, right? Very, very interesting point there. So what we've got a gold stater there. This gold stater is associated again with the Cora. Now we're getting into other territory. We're sort of moving a little bit over to East Anglia. It's very vague whether this is a Korotavai coin or this is actually an Iceni coin, the one there. But it's getting very interesting. The designs on this are getting very, very interesting. And if you look there on the left, you can actually see the three quarter. You can see there's a ring. There's a ring. You've got a try sort of a try design there, which is something that starts to get into our art as well. There's a certain name for that. I can't remember, but it looks very similar to a three-leaf clover. You've got the horse there on the right, but this is gold. But then you go clearly onto Iceni coins of East Anglia. Look at that one there, My Little Pony. I'm sure your daughter had a My Little Pony, Anne, and don't tell me she didn't, because she must have, because she was from the My Little Pony era. That definitely looks like a My Little Pony, and there we go. We got this design there in gold. And again, a bit vague, but I looked at this yesterday, and look at that there. Look at that head. It's almost as if I don't think this is, but look at that head. It looks like a head design, almost screaming from Dante's Inferno. One of the goblins from Dante's Inferno from the mid 1500s, and you're thinking, right, that's a bit weird. That's probably not what this is meant to do. That's meant to be, the whole coin's supposed to be the head of somebody. And again, more of the horse there, and obviously the wheel. Now, this is getting really, really interesting, right? Because it's another coin of the Iceni. And we've only got a few more designs of coins to actually show you, but the one on the left is typically a coin that's looking at you, right? That is the head, because this here, not that there is a moustache. Right? You can clearly see the moustache, you can see the eyes, right? And when I'm thinking about things like J.R.R. Tolkien's the Lord of the Rings trilogy, you can think that that is like maybe Sauron looking at you from the fires of doom, right? And maybe that design came from an Iron Age coin, not an Anglo-Saxon visage. Right, but again, this is not a gold, this is a silver coin, right? Yeah, the Iceni did produce a couple of silver coins, as I said earlier on. And some more of these silver coins rather than the gold from the Iceni, right? We then move on to two coins that are really, really odd, right? This is odd. But we haven't seen anything like this before in all the 4 presentations of coins. But what do we do there? That almost looks, the head there on the left looks like a Punch and Judy man. Somebody said it looks like a Native American with sort of like a crown and sort of feathers. And I basically stopped them and I said, when we went to the Colchester museum, right, where the Castle Museum in Colchester, when we went there, we basically mentioned that there were little crowns there. There were little Roman era crowns that looked like circular sort of crowns, you know. And I just thought, right, that looks very similar to something like this, you know. And I just thought, you know, this is in Colchester, obviously sacked by the Iceni in AD 60. But you're thinking that again, that looks very, very sort of Punch and Judy, and you've got like cheek muscles, but you start to look into it, it's got a nice sort of projected chin, the nose, the lips, and also the reminder, folks, the big reminder is that you're looking into faces of leaders, right? You're looking into the faces of these great leaders of the Iceni, and they're not these are shaved. Other than that one that's got a tush, right? These are shaved, and look at that. I gotta be honest with you, right? I'm looking at this and thinking of Brutus. I'm thinking of some of the finest designs from ancient Rome, but this is not a coin from ancient Rome. This is actually a coin from the good old land of Iron Age Britain, right? And look at that. It's very clear. It's a very clear representation. He looks like a boxer. Look at that nose. Look at the lips, right? Somebody's going to tell me, did Wales win in the rugby on the weekend? Let me know in a moment. But it looks like a Welsh rugby player. And there's no moustache. There's no beard. And I got to be honest with you, is that actually a real leader from the land of the Iceni just before the years of the Roman conquest of AD 43. And then you look at the horse and you're quite disappointed, to be honest with you. But the horse looks more like a dragon design, right? It almost looks like it's got wings and so on. So you've got this wonderful design here, this really impressive design. And there you've got a figure. You've got the figure on the left, and you've got the figure on the right. The figure on the right where you've got the horse, and that is a head. So you're thinking again, this is again another silver unit of the Iceni. And the head is very different from these, right? And it's almost as if they were capable of great things, because that by far the design of all those designs are great. I got to be honest with you. And in fact, I criticized the design on the obverse, on the reverse, because obviously ahead it's the obverse, on the reverse it looks like a dragon. If it's clearly a dragon, then that really makes sense to me. But then you look at this and you think that's going into sort of Picasso-ish, you know, Salvador Dali like thing, and you're thinking, right, okay. And then on the right you're talking about a horse, which is typical of these coins, again these silver coins, and there it is. So you're thinking, right, okay. And then they like doing these guys. So if they had, this is the same design as this. So the person producing these coins produced, as I've already said, the die was used to produce 10,000, and then they used another die to produce another 10,000 of these before it just become impractical to use the die. I got to be honest with you, making money must have been really, oh my God, your ears must have gone. It was like, right, next blank, bang, right, okay, next blank, bang. 10,000 later, right, you might have a break. Loving this, again, a silver coin, the Iceni, again, that sort of sense of portrayal of the horse, the head. But when you look at the head there, but when you look at the head here, you look at it and you squint it and you actually think, that looks quite realistic, right? It looks quite lifelike if you squint and look at it, right? And actually, the horse looks pretty good when you squint as well. Don't know if there's a reason behind that. And again, that's supposed to be a head on the left. Again, a design of the horse. And if that and that is all the same mintage, there's 30,000 of these types of designs coins made by even what we're saying, by what we're looking at, the same design. And then if this is next, look at that. Now, I got to be honest with you. In my notes, it says this Iceni silver coin again from North East Anglia. If you look on the left there, it's a boar, right? It's a boar on the left. On the right, what does that look like on the right? Come on, is it just my head? Tell me, somebody.
Mary Lloyd.
It does look like a Mary Lloyd. I was thinking you're going to say a dragon, but it does look like a Mary Lloyd.
The head
does
looks
look
like a Mary Lloyd head.
Yeah, actually, Anne. I'm glad I asked. Yeah, I'd agree with you on that one. But again, the boar, the other animal that we occasionally see on these coins, more of we see lots of horses. But again, the boar itself is telling us it's projecting, and you've got the boar and you've got the horse there. And then what you've got there on the right, interesting enough, you got the name repeated. The name Anteb is not just A-N-T-E-D, not just the name used by the Jabuni people of Alida. Anteb is also mentioned on this coin. You can see on the right there underneath the horse. There's an N there somewhere. There's definitely a T. There's an E and a D. Anteb. Now, this coin is really interesting because it says that popular leaders' names were Anteb, okay, of the Jabuni and the Iceni. And again, that must be a name, pre-Roman name, that's been enshrined on these coins. I tell you what, right? If any of us have any more children, Anne, right, call your son Anteb, and he will be the only child in Britain called Anteb. But it would be a most ancient name that is now enshrined in the modern day and age. Very interesting that. And there we go. This is moving again into some of these designs. Basically, just a few more slides, and we've done our coins for today. And we'll have a little bit of a break, and we'll do the next bit, and then we'll call it a day. So we've got a silver unit on the left there of the Iceni. That's another coin of Anteb. Right there you go, underneath the horse again. Different design from the other design that we've seen earlier on. So it's a completely different mintage. And then what they've decided to do, they've got they've got these designs for Anteb, right? So we've got one coin that looks similar to that coin, so that's 20,000 that they've issued. And then what we've got is very similar again, 30,000, 40,000. These are all these designs look really similar, all silver from the Iceni, right? And what we are very interesting is a slight change, because that coin's from Anteb at the top, which is very similar to these, but there's some slight change. And the slight change is that the design changes here, the lettering changes. It's not a coin to Anteb anymore. It's a coin to somebody by the name of Aachen, right? Now, that's really interesting, right? Ecen, E-C-E-N. Can you see that there at the bottom? E-C-E. And sometimes there's an E on it, Aachen, right? And that's really interesting, because that's really similar. Is that the name of a person, Aachen, right? Or is it the name of the tribe? Now, if it's the name of the tribe, then this is one of the only instances in the whole of Europe where a tribal name's actually placed on a coin. It's like putting Britain on a coin, right? Aachen, right? Which is very similar to Iceni, Aachen. So in other words, when we call them the Iceni, they were actually called the Aachen, right? Or the Isen, right? We'll leave that one there. We'll leave that one there. Now, also, as we end, right, this is a very regal coin. And you can see there, E-C, does that say Aachen there? But this, the final coin of today, and the final coin of our Iron Age coins, that coin there is the bust of the very, very late Prasutagus. And Prasutagus was the husband of Boudica.
Boudica, yeah.
Were you going to say that, Anne?
Yeah.
Oh, and you've got 10 marks for that today for once. Somebody else got it on Tuesday as well. Prasutagus was the husband of Boudica. Now, when he died, before he wrote to the Romans and said, "Look, on my death, you can have half of my kingdom, and my wife gets the other half." Right now, that's all good. If he had said, "My son can have the other half of the kingdom," then the Romans wouldn't have disagreed, right? Because it would have stood under law. But what the native Britons didn't know was that the Romans didn't recognize female leaders, and there's no such thing in Roman law, as a female leader. So while on the death of Prasutagus, he said, "My wife has half, and then Rome has the other half." Well, Rome didn't recognize her as a leader. So it was justifiable that Rome seized the whole territory. But let's not go to court over this. So again, that's really, really lifelike. It looks really Roman. It looks like very Georgian, actually. But that is our coins for today. So we've got another part. So we're going to have let's have a 10-minute break, and then we'll do the other part. And we're meant to be finished at 9 tonight, but obviously delayed, and a few screw ups tonight. So we supposed to be starting at 7. So what we'll do, we'll take a little bit of a break and a 10-minute break, and we will then, okay, we will then do the last part. So, but we'll ask if there's any questions. Any questions from you, Dick?
No, nothing interesting.
Any, thank you very Rich. Anything from you, Annie? And by the way, Annie, your sheep's doing well.
Oh, good. Um, no, I just noticed there was an article somewhere I saw on my phone or somewhere about the fact that the Iron Age women, were highly respected, highly regarded,
Yes.
compared to in Roman times, and there was some sort of connection there. So
Yes.
that I don't know where it was, but
I think I mentioned something like that last week, but yeah, you are very right. Yeah, very right.
so yeah,
Very,
they're good coins, good good designs.
they
Thanks
are
for
beautiful
showing them.
designs.
Thanks for
Beautiful
showing
designs. Right, Pat. Anything you want to say, my dear darling?
Oh, no, very interesting. I like the My Little Ponies. That makes it fun.
Yeah, obviously, My Little Ponies is where they got the design from. Right, okay, 10-minute break. I tell you what, we'll be back at 9:50. 9:50 to 8:50. 8:50,
All right
not 9.
then. Okay.
In a
Okay.
minute, loves.
Okay.
Okay. Hmm.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the one I used to know.
I always half wash up. I always half wash up.
And the question of the day is, if you were in the United States, would you be voting for Donald Trump?
No.
Nor me. Oh, do you know, there's some people think he's wonderful.
Oh, but by the way, your top fan's online, Anne. Your top fan is online.
But he's your top fan as well. He must be your fan.
Yeah, well, he is my fan, but I can't hog the limelight, Anne.
You can't watch.
Hang on a minute, have we got feedback here or something? Hang on a minute. Yeah.
It's your wife.
Hang on a minute. How many of you are online?
So, 3.
Yeah, I can hear you feel feedback.
No, it's a female voice.
Yes, you. I think Elvis Presley is going to make a comeback. Right. Okay. What's next? Right. So that's what we're going to do now. We're gonna crack on. Right. And yeah, I gotta wear my pro Zelensky hat on. Right. So you know.
Pro Zelensky. Oh.
Yeah. Vladimir Zelensky hat. Yeah. So right. Let's crack on with the next bit. And okay. Right. Let's do the next bit. Let's do the next bit. Okay, there we go. Little. And basically, that was the end of the coins, and you can tell one thing. You top of the screen, horses are everywhere, and the silver coins at the bottom, and you could see a few boars. Can you? A few nice boars there, boars. Loads of horses everywhere. And then basically the gold coin there. Is probably the gold coin in the center of the image is probably about 85% gold, and then these other ones are probably about 70% gold because they've got copper added. Anyway, let's move on. So what I wanted us to do is Judy. Hey Jude, why are you sad? Judy in the Tuesday class, because she used to be here on a Wednesday, Anne, right? And she's looking forward to seeing you at Chepstow. She said to give her love and her regards.
Oh, has she booked anywhere to stay yet?
Well, she's hoping that you bring a camper van along so she can shack up in there with you.
Oh, I don't know how I'm going to do this.
Anne, you got to give it faith, man.
Hmm.
You got to give it faith. Maybe you should come up on the train and stay with Judy.
Yeah, I was going to do that if Judy is staying somewhere.
Yeah, well, why you need to get in contact with Judy then.
What night does she do?
She's doing the 22nd of she's doing
No, I mean what night does she do on?
Oh, she does a Tuesday. I tell you what, if you sign in next Tuesday and have a quick word with her, you can shack up with her and you can come along to the show together.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I better tell her that. So that'll be pretty good.
Well, it depends whether there's time to get on a train. Anyway, you can't get trains from Chepstow.
Yes, you can.
Oh, can you?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
course you can get trains from Chepstow. Right, so we're going to look at a site known as Brunswick, and this is a site up north. This is a site that is one of those locations that has a bit of intriguing history to it in regards to the Iron Age, in regards to the Roman era. Now, this site itself, if I show you on a map over hither, is in the border territory, just northwest of Hadrian's Wall and northwest of the Scottish border, and you can see Carlisle and like I called it Burnswick, didn't it? Burnswalk, Burswark, Burnswalk Hill. Right, and what it is, it's a site of a ditch camp enclosure, a hill fort. There it is. On either side, there's a Roman fort, right? So it's a really interesting site. It's near Lockerbie in Dumfries and Galloway, and it's a prominent flat-topped hill. And it's formed out of a 301 million year old lava flow that was created on the 14th of August in that year. On this hill, they've found an Iron Age hill fort of 7 hectares, right? And a hectare is 2.5 acres. So you can get an idea that this is just under 20 acres in area. Well, a lot less than Maiden Castle, but it's fairly interesting. In Iron Age roundhouses found on this site, as you can see, it's sort of illustrated, and on the other side, completely empty. And north and south of this are 2 Roman era camps. Excavations have found evidence that the fortifications had collapsed or had been deliberately felled before or around the date 140 years AD 140, which is about the time that Antonius Pius was involved in an invasion of the likes of Scotland to get to the Ensign Wall just a few years later. When the site was bombarded by Roman sling bullets, and lots of these sling bullets had actually holes in them. So as they would go through the air, they would whistle as they went through the air, arrows and artillery missiles. While this was suggested to be evidence of Roman military training, some believe it was evidence of a Roman assault led by the Roman governor and general Quintus Lollius Ubicus Phallus, invaded in AD 140 into this part of Scotland. So this is a really, really interesting piece of our history because it sort of ties in with, if we go to that chart there, it ties in, and there it is, Burnswalk. There you can see it above a site known as Birrens, just above Carlisle. Now, this was a site associated with the Selgovae people. Again, they would have had an individual name at this site. And there's one of the forts there, and again, really enigmatic. And you've got the aerial view there: C fort, B fort, A and B associated with the likes of the Iron Age location. It's said we don't really know what's going on, but maybe it was a practice situation. Maybe it was a Roman siege of this location and they massacred everybody. But there's one thing that we mentioned last night, right? And I'm going to chuck this in here because we got two ways of looking at this, and we're going to give both, right? Was it a siege of actual Iron Age people and the Romans built the 2 camps? First question. Or was it the Romans had conquered this area, the local people said, you know, take over the hill fort, it's fine, and then the Romans used it as an assault, right? There is the other thing. When we look at Vercingetorix at Lysae with Julius Caesar's siege, I think it was about 54 years BC, 52. At Lysae, where Vercingetorix were held up, instead of the Romans actually assaulting it and lots of deaths of Roman soldiers incurring, they actually surrounded Lysae and starved Vercingetorix and his warriors out. He starved them. He starved them out, and even people leaving Elysee, the Romans stopped them leaving. Basically, said, "Right, we'll allow you to leave as long as everybody surrenders." There's a great sort of stuff going on. The Romans in this instance preferred to surround these places, starve them out, and then assault them. And another example of that is Masada in roughly around AD 70, where a Jewish a cultish army was actually held up at Masada. The Romans decided to put a ring around it and build all these forts, right? By the time they attacked Masada, very few Roman lives were lost because most of the people at Masada had committed suicide. Anyway, so this site itself, that drum there, you can see a bit of the Roman camp on the right there. It has been suggested that the evidence at Burns Walk does not suggest a siege designed to capture the hill fort, but rather the remains of a facility used to train soldiers in the use of slingshot and ballistae. Right. So basically, if we go back to this, you can see the ballistae on the left and the right, the smaller one on the right and the bigger one on the left. And these were actually placed on little platforms. Those are little platforms. When you think about the using a ballistae, they'd have to shot uphill, which is quite odd. But the use of stone facings in the camps has been taken to suggest a more permanent structure. So the one thing is, if you're gonna besiege somewhere, if you're going to assault it, you're going to be under constant attack. So you're not going to have time to build stone defenses. So is this evidence of a training target? So the use of stone facings in the camps has been taken to suggest a more permanent structure, and longer term occupation than would be required to assault the hill fort. The lead slingshot was thought incorrectly not to have been used at such a later date. And the thing is, when you're using lead slingshot, that's not going to be for practice. Maybe that's going to be used for training, but there's arguments for and against. But back to the idea that it's just a training thing and not a site that's been assaulted. They found lots of projectiles here, loads of them, stone balls, even projectiles coloured red. Now, if you're going to have projectiles coloured red, the people that you're attacking are going to be able to pick up these red projectiles, whether they're made of iron, lead, stone, so on. I can actually chuck them back at you. So why would you colour them red? You'd only do that if to recover them, right? And also, it's for training to basically, your red thing landed there. It should have landed there, that type of thing. A bit like targets practice, possibly to help in their recovery for reuse. Now, arrowheads have been found and various other things associated with the siege. Now, if you go with the idea that this is like a military assault, right? The idea that they found lots of these lead sling bullets, and there's holes in these lead sling bullets, indicates, on the other hand, that it was actually a siege. But where are the bodies associated with the siege? Now, usually the way the Romans would war would be that anywhere that they were attacking, as an example of a siege, and not to resist Rome, they would just leave all the dead bodies of the Iron Age people littered around the place. And this is basically what happened to Varus's legions in AD 9. The Germanic people just left the bodies of the Romans strewn in the woodlands of the Teutoburg forest, because that's what the Romans would do. They just leave bodies around as an example, not to invade. And this came from this is something that may which is not evidenced at this site. There's no bodies being found here, which is a bit odd, right? So the context of all of this idea that it was like a campaign, was that after the construction of Hadrian's Wall, around 120, Antonius Pius instructed the governor general, basically Quintus Lollius Ubicus, to invade all the way to the bit there which says the Antonine Wall and Fort. And in doing so, they would have come across various people wanted to resist Roman rule, but we're really trying to find the evidence. He had an army of 16,500, which is quite a big army for the age. Now, if again, if we want to talk a little bit about this being a battle, let's just do a little bit more. Let's just pretend it is a battle, and we've got the archaeological evidence for the battle. For example, let's put this one on here. We've got 2 Roman camps. There we go. Makes it easier to work out. So here we go. Let's just think. The warriors gathered at the ruined hill fort of Burnsworth, which commanded the western route northwards into Caledonia. If they refortified the hilltop, we don't have any evidence for this, but if they did, nevertheless, the Roman forces did not feel able to take the position by immediate storm. They set up camps either side of the fort, effectively isolating it. These 2 Roman camps were substantial fortifications for a siege, not intended for a few days' occupation. They could have housed around 6,000 soldiers, and their enemy may have also numbered in the thousands, but then again, maybe in the hundreds. Now, it's very difficult to keep a site which is 7 hectares in area, right? Just under 20 acres. It's very difficult to keep a site like that and defend it against these Roman soldiers, even if you are defending, right? Anyway, whereas the defenders would have been armed only with simple weapons, swords, spears, and shields, perhaps some missile weapons, and a few might have had body armor. The Romans had good personal equipment, including mass slingers, archers, effective siege artillery, the ballistas on those. It says there, can you see the little platforms there? They may have been mounted on those little circular platforms, but they're shooting uphill. A swathe of hundreds and hundreds of sling bullets, which had little holes in them, have been found along the facing of the area of the southern defences of the hill forts. They've actually been shot from the ballistas. And these little 3 things that I've just pointed out, these are actually known as brethren. And these are circular platforms which are 3.5 meters high, really interesting, and 15 meters across for the ballista. This is compatible with other evidence at other locations, but again, where are the bodies? And finally, just a note for this, and I'm really aware of time tonight because you know, about that. So the next bit's going to be a little bit more quicker. There may be evidence that this battle did actually take place, because they found at a site which is near this, right, known as Birrens. There's Burnswalk there, and a place known as Birrens. They found an inscription that talks about victory, which was associated with the 12th and the 8th legions that come over from Germany, for example. And it talks about a great victory, right? And there's only 20 of these inscriptions talking about Roman military victories found anywhere across the Roman Empire. Was it that this site of Burnsworth that we're actually talking about? The answer is we don't really know, but there you go. There's some of the Roman stuff. There's Burnsworth there again, and there we go. There's a reconstruction. Not many houses, and then they're not going to be able to defend this site for too much longer. A trained, disciplined Roman army would have made easy practice of this site, you know. But maybe if they don't want to lose lives, they just starve them out. I don't know. I really don't know. But we're lacking the evidence for a proper siege. So finally tonight, as we leave,
Digitalis.
What?
Digitalis.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Anne is completely right. This is actually our wonderful foxglove. Yeah, she is very, very right. And basically what it was, somebody asked the question last night that what are the types of plants that may have been available that may have been available to Iron Age people as to be used for medical cures, right? And so what we've got foxglove, for example, and the problem is I've lost my I've
Oh,
lost my list about which
I
of
know
these
what that is.
which of these individual ones are. Um,
I
but
know what.
hang on, if I type in here medicine plants again, maybe I'm going to get it again. If I put all these images up, medicinal plants, right? Okay. Ah, right. Okay. So I don't have a comprehensive list, right? So this has been lost from my notes. However, this gives you a little. Sorry about that. This gives you a little bit of a demonstration of plants that the types
The
of flowers. Maybe
forage.
um, I'm not.
Forage.
Yeah,
No.
I'm really struggling on the names at the minute. I really apologize because my
No.
list isn't in front of me. But the one point I wanted to make is maybe Iron Age people were actually using the flowers. Maybe they were using the stalks.
Oh,
Uh, this
that's
is
quite
very
fun.
something. If I add the list, I'll be able to tell you what this was. And this is a marsh plant as well. And again, all of
Yeah.
these may have had properties in for example, the Iron Age. And again, this plant here. But what I did last night is when I actually did have the full list last night. I haven't got it with me. But what I am going to do is if it's here. Um, Oh, that last one that we've actually just seen. Oh no, that was from last night. So
Wow.
if we go to there, um, hang on, where is it? Hang on, I just had
Oh,
it a moment ago.
fennel.
Hang on, lost it. Okay. Hang on a minute. I just got to type something in a minute. It was there a moment ago. Where is it? Is it that one? Um, Fennel's another one. Right. If I just type in this little this piece that I'm working on now. Hang on a minute. It's I go there a minute. I go back and I go back. Here we go. There's a piece online, and this is where we finished last night. Planting the Iron Age, right? And there was a nice little piece, right, which was here. And I just basically showed some images from this, and basically there's a place um, up near Stanwick, which is up northeast, and what they basically started doing, they started planting various different plants in the Iron Age, and they've got sort of Iron Age gardens, and the point of this was to sort of uh, grow things like catmint and sort of St. John's wort,
Yeah.
something known as tansy, something known as angelica flower, catmint, right? And they've been planting all these, and they've just been thinking about the values of these things in medicine, involving the likes of the Iron Age. And just one thing that, for example, we were going through the list. The one on the right is actually called catmint. Another name for that is catnip, best known for its ability to trigger episodes of euphoria in cats. However, if you're using the one on the right in human medicine, the crushed leaves can also be used to deter insects like flies, mosquitoes, and other bugs. And apparently, catmint, when you grind it down, has antibacterial properties. Amazingly enough. And it's talking about when you go to the properties in the Iron Age of, for example, the one on the left there, which is um, known as Angelica flower, which is there. Angelica flower, we're talking about the roots can give a distinctive taste, and has a sense of it. We possibly using that in medicine for its medicinal properties as well. Anyone knows St. John's Wort is good for memory, it's good for mind as well. They're talking about when interesting enough, they're talking
It's
about
like the-
using black currants in medicine in the Iron Age. And what we've got the likes of comfrey, for example, another one that
yeah.
you can see comfrey as being used not only as a herbal tea, an internal herbal tea, you can actually use it as an ointment. And they're talking about things like known as elecamp, right, which is Ellerkamp, which is rather interesting one, which is known as Elfdock. If you look that one up, I tell you what, if we look up Elfdock there, you'll be able to get an idea. Dock, and there we go, Elfdock. We mentioned Elfdock now, Ellerkamp, and apparently Ellerkamp itself is brilliant. It's said for cold and windy stomach, and it is used to resist poison. So if you think you've been poisoned, you would go and find the Ellerkamp. And lots of these things you might think associated with animals going off wandering. They got upset stomachs. They're not very well, like cats and so on. Cats would eat sort of long grasses in particular, and dogs the same. And Ellerkamp is actually mentioned as a cure for lots of things, like Pliny the Elder, before he dies at, for example, Pompeii. And what we've got is fennel as well. We've all got an idea of fennel, right? And if I type in fennel, and we'll finish on the foxglove where we started off on, and we're talking about fennel. Fennel is apparently something that is it could be used, and it's said that the Anglo-Saxons put fennel at the top of their sort of medicinal list. You know, fennel's good in medicine. You know, it's good in food. It's a required thing for warriors, for example, and you know it's got all these different powers. But if we go back to the last slide and finish, for example, and we go to foxglove, foxglove itself, digitalis. An extract from the leaves. It said this is a good cardiac digitoxin. Is used as a medication for heart failure. It's meant to set the pace of your heart, and it sort of brings a little bit of life, but only don't use too much of it. Digitalis toxin can cause the heart to beat more strongly, right? So you don't want to use too much of it, right? It's to sort of bring life. However, minute increases in the dosage of these drugs can make the difference between an ineffective dose and a fatal one, and a very powerful thing.
That's why it's not
all our
good for
medicine.
us to use.
Yeah, well, it's probably it's like mushrooms, isn't it? Somebody said to me recently, they said if you want to try out mushrooms, whether they're good for you or not, you need to eat one, and if it makes you sick and you rush to hospital, then it's not a wise idea to eat anymore.
Exactly.
So anyway, so what we're going to do, we're going to call that a day, right? Sorry, we shouldn't be running beyond 9 now, but I'm going to grab a bag of chips on the way back. So have we done that? I told you about the listing and so on and that. So I'm just wondering if there's any questions tonight from Anne.
No, it's no, not really. I
Okay,
didn't really bird's place. Bird it's not birds, is it? The Roman fort.
Burns Walk, BUR. Oh, Bird Oswald on Hadrian's Wall.
Oh, that's what I was getting mixed up with.
No.
Bill's been there, hasn't he?
Yeah, we had the trip there. We had.
Yeah.
I got to be honest with you. Apparently, that was one of the best trips that we've done, even though it was completely soaking wet and my car broke down and But other than that, Pat went on that one. Pat had her Archaeology Cymru umbrella on that one. I had my Archaeology Cymru umbrella that cost about 30 quid. Mine one broke into bits. The wind, the rain. Actually, it's the only trip where I've actually everyone said, right, Carl, you need to sit down. You're soaking wet, and I was losing the plot, and I sat down, and then everybody went off, and Michelle helped me back into the car, and we managed to crack on. But that's life. But other than that, yes, you were thinking of Bird Oswald. Burns' work is something different. So,
all right.
Burns' work.
Geological geological a geological thing.
A big basaltic rock that's got a big
Yeah.
hill fort on top of it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Right. Okay. Let's have any questions off anyone. Right. Pat.
No questions. Thank you very much.
Okay. And Richard, finally.
No, nothing for me. Very interesting.
Thank you very much. Well, we're gonna call it a night now. Yeah, it was delayed tonight because I didn't really know what was going on with people, but hopefully back to normal next week at 7 o'clock. And hopefully see you then.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Anyway, thank you
everyone.
very much,
Yeah,
Pat
bye.
and
Bye.
Richard.
Bye.
No,
Go on.
folks.
Happy
No, no.
day.
No, folks. No. Right, there's nothing in the chat box. 3, 2, 1, and I don't know. I don't know if anyone said anything online. If there's any messages from anybody. Oh my God, Dodgy Git was on. Dodgy Git, aha, geology, salt of vinegar, dripping salt, water, battery. Oh, okay, bye. Anyway, everybody, thank you for joining us online. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as I always say, anyone who wants to chuck over a donation, please do so. You can press the pound sign there on the dollar sign there, and if anyone wants to put anything over into my PayPal account, if they want to make a contribution, I'm putting that on there. And basically anyone subscribing, I'm very, very close to 3,000 subscribers, and that would be absolutely brilliant for a jobbing archaeologist, actor, YouTuber. Anyway, many thanks for your support. Back next week, Tuesday, Wednesday. And I do believe David Bellamy has put the details up there. Pay karl-james-langford.com.uk. Yeah, Karl James Langford, Karl-James Langford at outlook.com. PayPal, make a donation. Many thanks for that, folks. We're going to call it a day. Looking in the chat box 1, looking in chat box 2,